Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. I have another Transformers Robots in Disguise review for you today. This is Warrior Class Bisk. As you can see here, his alt mode is a kind of cool little stylized car. But he's kind of a lobsterish kind of dude. He's got some pretty cool claws, which we'll take a look at. Nice picture there on the side. On the back, just has the transformation instructions. Shows both robot mode and alt mode. Not really any bio or anything that I can see, which is kind of unfortunate, but definitely looks pretty cool. I love the artwork. I love his crazy eyes and everything. That's a lot of fun. So let's get Bisk out of the packaging and we'll take a closer look. So here's Bisk out of the packaging, and I really like him a lot. You can take a look here at the crazy head. And you can see it's kind of soft plastic. The antenna here on the top and the bottom and the eyes and everything are kind of a softer plastic. But I love the little antenna eye stalks. The blue's nice there, a little bit of silver. You can see the Decepticon symbol there in the chest. So I really like the head design a lot. If I zoom back out here. Really nice articulation, I think. He has these shoulder pads that kind of come straight down, but if you really wanted to move them out to the side or a little bit something like that, you certainly could, because it's just connected with a ball joint. So there's tons of posability there. This has a hinge like this, as you can see, but there's also a hinge up and down like that. You have a bicep swivel, then you have 90 degrees here in the elbow, and then of course you have the claws that can open and close, which is absolutely fantastic. Don't think there's any waist articulation, but you do have a ball joint in the hip. And then you have a thigh swivel, and then you have pretty much 180 in the knee because of the transformation, and then you have some up and down here in the ankle as well. So really nice amount of posability. Not really any car kibble on the back, just kind of the roof, which I appreciate. Think that looks pretty good. So in addition to his awesome pincer claws, he does come with these two little guns. Very simplistic, but you can pop them into these little holes right here on the top of the claw. So having claws does not stop him from wielding some firepower, which I greatly appreciate, because I do love the claws, but I think it's cool that you can also get him to hold some guns. So that's pretty awesome like that. But I think the claws are probably my favorite part of this robot mode, just because he's a lobster and he's got some crazy giant claws, which look absolutely fantastic. And they work really well, in my opinion. They're not too loose or overly contrived. They're just normal, perfectly well done pincer claws. And I think overall, Bisk's robot mode looks really good. The color scheme's nice. It's mostly this kind of orangish red, but then there's a little bit of a kind of maroon to break it up. And then you have some black accents as well. So I really have no complaints about the robot mode. I think it looks really fantastic. Nice bit of articulation, and the fact that he can hold the guns is a really nice touch. But I want to get into his transformation because I think the vehicle mode is also awesome, and I really like the transformation. So the transformation is fairly simplistic, but it's pretty satisfying in my opinion. You're going to start by just opening the chest, and it just folds straight down, and then you're going to rotate the head back in. Now the joints on mine are pretty tight, and apparently I just popped the head off the ball joint, so be careful, because apparently that can happen. But you can see the joints right in there, and I just have to... mine's really tight. I think over time it'll loosen up, but then you just rotate the head into the chest, just like that. You're going to kind of... You see there's two pins right there, and you're going to rotate the shoulders up to kind of get them out of the way, and then you can fold this all the way, make sure the head's in all the way, and then fold that all the way back past and deep into the chest cavity. So you can see it's pretty much flat against there. Then you're just going to rotate at the bicep 180 degrees. Do that for both arms. And then you're going to kind of work these up and rotate these shoulder pads around, because that's going to become the hood of the car. So you're going to rotate these up, and there's actually a tab right on there, and that's going to peg into this hole right here. So you're going to rotate this around. You can see this joint right here. So that's going to come in, and then this huge tab is going to peg in to this slot right there. So you're going to kind of peg that in as you're lining this up and dropping that down. and just do that for both. And then you'll drop that, and then the two pieces will peg together here in the front. You can see the tab is underneath there. And there you go. That's pretty much the entire front section of the car. You can see the hood, the wheel wells, and everything. You're going to come around to the back. Now, the directions don't show you this very well, but you're going to have to rotate these feet back. Very simple. You just kind of straighten them out like that, and then they will bend at the knee. That 180, I'm sorry, you have to lift up the hood back like that. Well, the roof of the car, I should say. And then you're going to just drop these in. You can see how there's a cutout, and that's for this piece right here. So that's going to rotate into there. Very simple. Just make sure you have it lined up. I say very simple as I have trouble with it. There we go. So there you go. And then you just see these two tabs right there. They're going to drop into those two peg holes right there. So boom, there you go. You're pretty much done. Another part the directions don't show you, but I think it's pretty obvious to figure out. The pin right here that gives them the claws, that's just going to rotate back. And you can see there's a slot here, and there's a tab in there. And then that's just going to clip right in there. And there you go. You have your Bisk car vehicle mode. So I'm a big fan of this vehicle mode. I'm always a fan of crazy, like super stylized, kind of futuristic cars like this. I just think it's a lot of fun. And I really like this a lot. I mean, it's pretty much all orange. You don't really get any of that maroon that was visible underneath here in the robot mode, except for just this tiny bit back here, which was on the kind of shin guards or kneecaps of the robot mode. But you do get some black for the windows, and of course you get black on the wheels, and it rolls pretty well. No problems there. Now, there's nowhere to store the guns underneath, which is kind of a bummer. But those holes from the top of the claw are now here on the front. So you can just go ahead and pop them on if you'd like. And then he can kind of drive around with some guns. I mean, they're very obvious, but I like it. I also kind of like the silver and the blue here for the headlights. That's really nice paint, which I appreciate. I think it's kind of funny, the little symbol here on the hood. Almost looks like it would be meant for a Decepticon or for an Autobot, but this is a Decepticon. So really the only place you get that is on the chest there. I would have loved something like if they would have painted a Decepticon symbol here, or even just on top of the hood, or on top of the roof of the car. Just my opinion. I like more Decepticon or Autobot symbols depending on which faction you're dealing with, but I've noticed in this line they don't really do symbols for the factions in the alt modes. Kind of was a similar problem I had with Paralon and Scorponok. But I love this alt mode. I really love this car. I think it looks cool with the guns and without, as they flip around. But yeah, I just think it's a lot of fun. I love the stylized alt mode. I think the car looks really neat. You don't really have a lot of robot kibble underneath. I think they did a great job with that. Yeah, I like it a lot. Very, very cool. So I really like Bisk a lot. I think if you can track him down, I definitely think you should grab him. He's one of the more fun, easy to transform Decepticons in this line, in my opinion. I love the lobster mode. I think the pincer claws are a really nice touch. He comes with the two guns, in my opinion. They weren't really necessary, but any extra is always great. I think they look fantastic, and, you know, just give him a little bit more accessories always works out. I appreciate that they did make it so that he could wield them, even though he doesn't really have any hands. But I think the pincer claws are just the best part, in my opinion. And I don't know, I really don't have anything to complain about with this guy. I like him a lot. I love the robot mode. I love the alt mode. The color scheme's fun. It makes sense for a lobster. Love the inclusion of the extra accessories. So yeah, I got nothing to complain about. I think if you're collecting Rid figures, this is definitely one of the better ones. And if you can find them, you should definitely add them to your collection. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you've enjoyed this look at Warrior Class Bisk from Transformers Robots in Disguise. Please like and share this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, thank you guys for watching.